The golden arches still gleam, but something has shifted in the landscape of American fast food. Walk through any city in 2025 and you'll notice the subtle changes. The lines that once wrapped around buildings have shortened. The loyal customers who visited twice a week now cook at home. The brands that once defined our dining habits are stumbling, confused about who they are and what they stand for. This isn't about economic collapse or cultural revolution. This is about identity crisis. 6 major chains that dominated our meals and memories are losing their way, abandoning the very qualities that made them beloved. They've forgotten what made customers choose them over countless alternatives. The result is confusion, disappointment, and empty dining rooms where families once gathered. These aren't mom-and-pop shops closing quietly. These are giants with in-revenue, thousands of locations, and decades, billions of brand recognition. Yet in 2025, they're all asking the same desperate question: who are we supposed to be? Number 6. Burger King. For decades, Burger King knew exactly what it was. The rebellious alternative to McDonald's. The place where you could have it your way. The home of the Whopper, flame-grilled and unapologetically bold. But somewhere along the path to 2025, that clarity vanished. Today, Burger King feels like a brand having an identity crisis in public, changing direction so frequently that customers no longer know what to expect when they walk through those doors. The menu changes have become relentless. One month, they're pushing plant-based Impossible Whoppers as the future of fast food. The next month, they're doubling down on bacon and cheese-loaded classics. Then suddenly, they're promoting chicken sandwiches, then fish, then tacos, then breakfast items available all day. Each pivot feels desperate, like throwing ideas against the wall to see what sticks. But nothing sticks because customers can't form emotional attachments to products that disappear before they've had time to appreciate them. The promotional strategy has become equally scattered. Remember when Burger King promotions were simple and memorable? The Whopper Wednesday deals, the 2 for $5 specials that everyone understood. Now the app offers 17 different promotions simultaneously. Buy one, get one free, but only on Tuesdays. 50% off your second item, but not during lunch hours. Free fries with any purchase over $12, except for premium items. The complexity has turned ordering into a puzzle that most customers simply don't want to solve. Even the restaurant experience has lost coherence. Some locations feel like sleek, modern spaces trying to compete with Shake Shack. Others maintain the dated orange and brown aesthetic from the 1980s. The service varies wildly from store to store. At one location, your order arrives quickly with a smile. At another, you wait 15 minutes while staff members seem confused by their own menu. This inconsistency has eroded the trust that brands need to survive. The core problem is that Burger King has forgotten what made it special. The flame-grilled difference that once set it apart now gets lost in the noise of constant menu additions and promotional chaos. Customers who loved the simplicity of choosing between a Whopper with cheese, or chicken nuggets, now face decision paralysis in the drive-thru line. The brand that once stood for rebellion and individuality now feels like it's desperately trying to be everything to everyone, which means it's nothing to anyone. Number 5. Subway. The fall of Subway reads like a textbook case of how not to handle a brand crisis. Once the largest restaurant chain in the world with over 44,000 locations globally, Subway built its empire on a simple promise: fresh ingredients, healthier options, and customizable sandwiches made to order while you watched. By 2025, that empire is crumbling, and the wreckage reveals a company that lost its way through a series of self-inflicted wounds. The rebranding attempts have been particularly painful to watch. After years of scandals and declining sales, Subway decided it needed a complete makeover. New logos, new uniforms, new store designs, and new menu items that strayed far from the core sandwich offerings that built the brand. The problem wasn't that Subway needed to modernize. The problem was that it threw out everything customers associated with the brand in a desperate attempt to seem relevant. The legal troubles have been devastating for customer trust. Beyond the obvious scandals involving former spokespeople, Subway has faced lawsuits over everything from the length of their foot-long sandwiches to the ingredients in their bread. Each court case reinforced the perception that Subway wasn't being honest with customers about what they were actually selling. When your brand is built on freshness and quality, legal disputes over whether your tuna is actually tuna become existential threats. The franchise system that once powered Subway's explosive growth has become a liability. Store owners are closing locations at an unprecedented rate, unable to make profits with the current business model. Rising food costs, increased labor expenses, and declining foot traffic have created a perfect storm. But instead of addressing these fundamental issues, corporate headquarters has focused on superficial changes that don't solve the underlying problems. Quality control has suffered as the chain has tried to cut costs while maintaining profitability. The vegetables that once looked crisp and fresh now often appear wilted under heat lamps. The bread that was supposedly baked fresh daily now arrives frozen and reheated. The meat portions have shrunk while prices have increased. Customers notice these changes and they vote with their wallets by choosing competitors who deliver better value. The competition has capitalized on Subway's struggles brilliantly. Chains like Jersey Mike's and Firehouse Subs have positioned themselves as the fresh, quality alternatives that Subway used to be. They've taken the best elements of the Subway model, improved the execution, and created experiences that feel more authentic and satisfying. Meanwhile, Subway continues to chase trends instead of perfecting the basics that customers actually care about. The franchise count tells the story in stark numbers. From a peak of nearly 27,000 U.S. locations, Subway has closed thousands of stores with no signs of the decline slowing. Each closure represents not just lost revenue, but lost visibility and convenience for remaining customers. The network effect that made Subway ubiquitous is working in reverse, making it increasingly irrelevant in communities across America. What makes Subway's decline particularly tragic is how preventable it was. The core concept of customizable sandwiches made with fresh ingredients remains appealing to consumers. The problem was never the fundamental business model. The problem was leadership that panicked when faced with challenges and abandoned the principles that built customer loyalty in the first place. Number 4. Panera Bread. Panera once occupied a special place in the American dining landscape. It wasn't fast food, but it wasn't fine dining either. It was the comfortable middle ground where you could grab a quality meal without guilt or pretension. The bakery cases filled with fresh pastries, the soups served in bread bowls, the salads that actually satisfied. For years, Panera represented accessible wellness, a place where eating clean didn't require sacrificing convenience or breaking the bank. But in 2025, that positioning has collapsed under the weight of prices that no longer match the experience customers receive. The price increases have been staggering and relentless. A simple turkey sandwich that cost $8 3 years ago now approaches $15 in many markets. The signature bread bowls have crept past $12 for what amounts to soup and a hollowed-out loaf. Even basic items like bagels and coffee have reached price points that make customers pause and reconsider their choices. The psychological barrier has been crossed where Panera no longer feels like an everyday option for middle-class families. Portion sizes have shrunk even as prices have climbed, creating a double blow to perceived value. The salads that once overflowed their containers now look sparse and underwhelming. The sandwiches feel lighter, less substantial. The soup portions have decreased while the bread bowls somehow seem smaller too. Customers notice these changes immediately, and they feel cheated when they're paying more for less food than they received just months earlier. The quality that once justified premium pricing has become inconsistent across locations. Some Panera stores maintain the standards that built the brand's reputation. Others serve wilted lettuce, stale bread, and lukewarm soups that taste like they've been sitting under heat lamps for hours. This inconsistency is particularly damaging for a brand built on the promise of fresh, quality ingredients prepared with care. The ordering process has become unnecessarily complicated through digital systems that prioritize efficiency over experience. The kiosks that replaced human interaction often malfunction or confuse customers who simply want to order a sandwich. The mobile app promotions require multiple steps in account creation that many customers find frustrating. The result is longer wait times and more friction in what should be a simple transaction. Menu complexity has exploded without clear benefit to customers. Panera now offers dozens of sandwich combinations, seasonal items that appear and disappear without warning, and customization options that overwhelm rather than enhance the ordering experience. The focus has shifted from doing a few things exceptionally well to offering everything mediocrely. The cafe atmosphere that once encouraged lingering and community has been systematically eliminated. Tables have been removed to make room for pickup counters. Comfortable seating has been replaced with hard chairs designed to discourage long visits. The lighting has become harsher, the music louder, the overall environment more transactional than welcoming. What's particularly frustrating is that Panera's decline feels unnecessary. The brand had carved out a profitable niche serving customers who wanted better ingredients and preparation than typical fast food chains. Instead of protecting and nurturing that position, leadership has chased growth through price increases and operational changes that alienate the core customer base that made Panera successful. Number 3. Chipotle. Chipotle's story is perhaps the most heartbreaking on this list because it represents the fall of what many considered the gold standard of fast casual dining. For years, Chipotle proved that customers would pay premium prices for premium ingredients, transparent sourcing, and customizable meals prepared in front of them. The assembly line concept was brilliant in its simplicity. Fresh ingredients, skilled preparation, and consistent execution created an experience that felt both fast and thoughtful. But in 2025, that magic has evaporated, replaced by frustration, disappointment, and the sense that Chipotle has lost touch with what made it special. The portion control controversy has become legendary among regular customers. Videos circulate on social media showing the dramatic difference between burrito bowls from different locations, sometimes with protein portions varying by 50% or more. Customers have learned to hover over servers, requesting extra portions of items they used to receive automatically. The experience has become adversarial rather than collaborative, with diners feeling like they need to fight for fair treatment. Price increases have outpaced inflation and customer tolerance. A basic burrito that cost $7 5 years ago now approaches $13 in major markets. Adding extras like guacamole or double protein can push a single meal over $20, pricing out the college students and young professionals who formed Chipotle's core demographic. The value proposition that once justified premium pricing has eroded as portions have shrunk and prices have soared. Service quality has declined noticeably across the chain's thousands of locations. Orders are frequently incorrect, with requested modifications ignored or incorrectly applied. Wait times have increased as understaffed locations struggle to handle demand during peak hours. The enthusiasm and pride that once characterized Chipotle employees has been replaced by indifference and frustration that customers can feel in every interaction. Digital ordering, which should have improved convenience, has instead created new problems. The app frequently crashes during busy periods, and online orders are often prepared incorrectly because kitchen staff can't ask clarifying questions. Pickup times are unreliable, forcing customers to wait in stores for orders that were supposed to be ready. The technology that was meant to streamline the experience has instead added new layers of complexity and frustration. Ingredient quality has become inconsistent in ways that damage the Promise brand's core. Rice is sometimes undercooked, sometimes mushy. Vegetables vary dramatically in freshness from location to location. The carnitas that once had devoted followers now taste different on where you order depending. These inconsistencies undermine the trust that took years to build and that competitors are eager to capture. The cleanliness and atmosphere issues have persisted despite corporate promises of improvement. Tables remain dirty longer than they should. Floors are sticky and littered with food debris. The open kitchen concept that once showcased freshness and transparency now highlights disorganization and poor execution. The experience feels chaotic rather than efficient. Number 2. Panda Express. Panda Express built its empire on a simple premise that resonated with millions of Americans. Quick, affordable Chinese-American food served cafeteria style with generous portions and familiar flavors. For decades, the orange chicken, chow mein, and fried rice satisfied customers who wanted something different from burgers and pizza without venturing into expensive sit-down restaurants. The formula was straightforward and effective, but in 2025, Panda Express has lost its way through a combination of declining quality and misguided attempts to expand beyond what customers actually want. The signature dishes that built customer loyalty have suffered from cost-cutting measures that show up immediately on the plate. The orange chicken pieces have become smaller and less consistent in preparation. Sometimes they're perfectly crispy and flavorful, other times they're soggy and bland. The teriyaki chicken that was once reliably tender now often arrives dry and overcooked. These quality fluctuations create disappointment for customers who expect consistency from a chain with thousands of locations. Menu experimentation has confused rather than excited the customer base. Panda Express has introduced items like Korean BBQ chicken, honey sesame chicken breast, and various regional specialties that feel disconnected from the core Chinese American offerings that customers expect. These additions have cluttered the menu without creating compelling reasons for new visits. Meanwhile, beloved items disappear from locations without warning, frustrating loyal customers who built meal routines around specific dishes. Portion sizes have decreased while prices have increased, eroding the value perception that kept customers coming back. The two entree plate that once provided enough food for a full meal now leaves many customers still hungry. The sides have shrunk noticeably, and the proteins don't fill the containers like they used to. For a brand built on generous portions at reasonable prices, these changes strike at the heart of the value proposition. Service speed has slowed despite technological investments meant to improve efficiency. Lines move more slowly as staff members struggle with more complex menus and preparation requirements. The steam tables that should keep food hot and ready often contain items that look dried out or overcooked from sitting too long. Fresh batches arrive inconsistently, meaning early customers get better food than those who arrive later. The dining environment has deteriorated in ways that make the experience less pleasant. Tables stay dirty longer, floors become sticky and littered with dropped food, and the overall cleanliness standards have slipped. The casual atmosphere that once felt welcoming now often feels neglected and chaotic. What's most frustrating about Panda Express's decline is how it mirrors broader problems in the fast casual industry. Instead of focusing on executing the basics exceptionally well, the chain has chased trends and cost savings that compromise the fundamental experience customers expect. The orange chicken that made Panda Express famous is still available, but it's not the same orange chicken that built customer loyalty in the first place. Number 1. Shake Shack. The fall of Shake Shack represents perhaps the most dramatic identity crisis in modern fast food history. What began as a single hot dog cart in Madison Square Park evolved into a premium burger concept that redefined what fast casual dining could be. The original Shake Shack locations felt special, offering restaurant-quality burgers and shakes in a fast food format that justified premium pricing through superior ingredients and execution. But in 2025, that specialness has been systematically eliminated through expansion decisions and operational changes that have left customers wondering what they're actually paying for. The prices have reached levels that make customers question the entire value proposition. A basic Shack burger now costs more than many set-down restaurant entrees. Adding fries and a shake can push a single meal past $25. Pricing that puts Shake Shack in direct competition with full-service restaurants that offer more comprehensive dining experiences. The premium pricing made sense when the product quality and experience justified the cost. Now it feels like paying luxury prices for increasingly ordinary food. Wait times have become legendary for all the wrong reasons. What was once a quick stop for a quality burger now requires planning and patience that most fast food customers aren't willing to invest. Orders regularly take 15 to 20 minutes during busy periods, despite the simplified menu and assembly line preparation that should enable faster service. The inefficiency is particularly galling given the premium prices customers pay. The food quality that once distinguished Shake Shack from competitors has become inconsistent across locations and visits. Burgers arrive overcooked or undercooked with alarming frequency. The signature crinkle-cut fries are often cold or soggy by the time they reach customers. The shakes that gave the chain its name are frequently too thick to drink through the provided straws or so thin they taste watered down. These quality control failures undermine the entire premium positioning. Expansion has diluted the brand's exclusivity and operational excellence. Shake Shack locations now occupy airport food courts, mall locations, and highway rest stops where the elevated experience that justified premium pricing is impossible to maintain. The charm of the original locations, with their thoughtful design and neighborhood integration, has been replaced by generic spaces that feel interchangeable with any other fast casual chain. Menu complexity has increased without clear benefit to the customer experience. Limited time offerings appear and disappear constantly, creating confusion rather than excitement. The core menu items that customers expect are sometimes unavailable, while experimental items take up preparation space and staff attention. The focus has shifted from executing the basics perfectly to constantly introducing new products that may or may not connect with customer preferences. The service experience has become transactional rather than welcoming. Staff members who once seemed enthusiastic about the product now appear overwhelmed and disinterested. The table service that once distinguished Shake Shack from pure fast food chains has been eliminated in many locations, removing a key differentiator that justified higher prices. What makes Shake Shack's decline particularly painful is how avoidable it seems. The original concept was brilliant and could have been protected through careful expansion and unwavering commitment to quality standards. Instead, the pursuit of growth has compromised the very qualities that made Shake Shack worth seeking out in the first place. These 6 chains represent more than individual business failures. They illustrate the broader challenge facing American food brands in an era of infinite choice and rising expectations. Customers have more options than ever before, from local restaurants to meal delivery services to home cooking solutions. In this competitive landscape, brands that lose sight of their core identity and value proposition quickly find themselves irrelevant. The empty dining rooms and declining sales figures tell the story clearly. When fast food chains forget what made them special in the first place, customers are quick to find alternatives that better serve their needs and respect their loyalty. The question isn't whether these brands can recover, but whether they remember who they used to be in time to matter again. The lesson here cuts deeper than failed marketing campaigns or poor operational decisions. Each of these chains succeeded by understanding exactly what customers wanted from them and delivering it consistently. Burger King was the rebellious alternative. Subway was the healthy fast option. Panera was accessible wellness. Chipotle was transparent quality. Panda Express was generous comfort. Shake Shack was premium worth waiting for. But success bred complacency, and complacency bred confusion. These brands started chasing every trend, copying every competitor, and second-guessing the instincts that built their empires. They forgot that customers don't want everything from one restaurant. They want one thing done exceptionally well, consistently, at a price that feels fair for what they receive. The fast food landscape in 2025 is littered with brands that lost their nerve, abandoned their identity, and paid the price in empty dining rooms and declining revenues. The winners in this new era will be the chains that remember what made them special in the first place and have the courage to stay true to that vision. Because in a world of infinite choices, clarity isn't just an advantage, it's survival.